What's going on, y'all? CorporateLike Entertainment, the Bridge Talk Podcast. We just did a soft launch for the website. So log on to www.corporatelike.com. Check that out. We'll get some more shit updated real soon. I'm just doing part 2 to the Jay-Z interview. I couldn't finish it the first go around. Had some shit I had to take care of. But I'm getting into the second interview from the New York Times. Thought it was pretty short. I think it was like 20 minutes, 18 minutes. You know, I really want interviews to be like an hour long, especially for artists I like. But that's neither here or there. And that interview talked about his writing process for Reasonable Doubt and just in general. And I know early on in his career, he didn't really have structured bars. And I can kind of see that. Like songs like Bring It On Reasonable Doubt, songs like Where I'm From, 1 in a Million, those are not necessarily structured bars, or just a lot of bars at once, if that makes sense. I think I'm missing a couple. The 222 it's a freestyle, but you know. But he talks about his structured bars and how he didn't really have that early on in his career, and as time went on, you know, he became a great songwriter. I think that was some things that he touched on, which was important, because I think now, I don't think we have structured music or even bars. And don't get me wrong, I'm not too familiar how bars are supposed to be structured. I think 16 for each verse or something like that. I don't know. People go against the norm all the time, right? But I noticed in music as of late, it's just not as structured no more. So I thought him bringing that up was a good point. And structured bars. And he talked about the 444, how he was vulnerable and had that transparency when he stepped out on his wife. And you know, I like that vulnerability. I like that transparency. I like that. Give me the real shit. Talk about your trauma. I like that in 444. And that's why I like certain artists. Like I like the Lupe Fiascos. I like the Kendrick Lamars. I like the Tylers, because it's transparency. And that's why I like, you know, you can fret and stun a little bit, you know, that's cool or whatnot, right? But that transparency would bring me closer to the music, especially for Kendrick. I think that's important to the fan base, to let the fans inside of your life and what you've been through and what you talked about. I think there's a new artist out in, he's from New York. I don't know what part, I forget. Damn, what's his nigga name? Northside Flea or some shit. I'm butchering that. I'm butchering that name. Damn, I want to see. Hold on. Yeah, I butchered his name. His name's Northside Lord. He talked about his vulnerability with, you know, being locked up, being with his mom, the abuse he encountered with his mom. So I like that vulnerability in art. I think it's really important to connect with the fans. And then some fans don't give a fuck about none of that shit. And that, you know, that's fair. You know what I'm saying? I just know for me, I like that transparency. And Jay-Z also talked about in the New York Times interview about how these older artists try to make young music. And he said it feels inauthentic. That is very true. I give you one artist, Jim Jones. Try to make the drill music, try to be young and rap young, and I don't like it. For me, I don't know how everybody else feel. I feel like that shit is it. If you're gonna try to make young music or whatever that looks like, drill, you know, these shorter songs now, which I consider young music, 1 minute songs, 2 minute songs, you know, you gotta do it right. You can't just make some young shit. Like, it has to be right. And I feel like a lot of these older guys trying to fit in with the times, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It don't make sense either. But that's just my personal opinion. You took that with a grain of salt. I'm just saying, I don't want to hear about a 50-year-old nigga talking about he young and fly and he's for the kids, or he's he's drippy or he's got a lot of drip or whatever. I don't use that terminology. That shit corny as fuck to me. But that's me. You niggas use it, fine, great, fantastic. I'm just saying I'm just not. No, that shit don't make sense. Or, you know, back in the day we praised the hustler, the drug dealer. Nowadays we praising the junkie. Like we putting the nigga, oh, I just popped 3 beans or perks or whatever the terminology is. I don't relate to that, dog. I ain't popping no beans or no perks or no Vicodin or whatever the fuck you popping. I ain't doing that, and I ain't glorifying that. Now, I am contradicting right now because I sold drugs. I was a problem to the community selling drugs. Get it? I'm just saying how we grew up, we praised the drug dealer, not the junkie. I'll move on from that. And he made a great point, and it shows the difference between boys and men. It really does. He mentioned things about, you know, things I believe to be true as a young man, I don't believe so much anymore, like street codes. And I've been saying this for a long time. But, damn, what I'm saying? Oh, you know, street codes. You know, back in the day, we had a street code, you know, honor amongst thieves, never steal from nobody, etc., etc. And if you notice, a lot of people didn't follow those street codes. They still don't. Like Troy Ave said, the streets is a myth. He's absolutely right. When he said that, I resonated with that. Because where is the street code? Niggas be acting like bitches. I see it every day. Around the world. That's why I keep my circle small, right? Because you just never know people's intentions. Like the street, it ain't the street no more. It ain't what it used to be, right? And you know, as you get older, your mindset gotta evolve into something bigger. You know what I'm saying? You can't sell drugs for 50 years. Or you can't be fucking bitches and hoes for 50. I mean, what that means, right? Yeah, I just came from a bad bitch house. You 50 years old, dog. That shit sound crazy. We grown as fuck now. Like, it's time to move on and grow up and have a growth mindset. And he mentioned the whole money, like, he mentioned money over hoes as that was stupid, he said. And granted, I want niggas to understand what I'm saying. Back then, for Jay-Z, and for me too, and people I'm around, back then that was a thing, money over hoes, right? But what it look like now as a 50, I'm 40 and Jay's 50 and whoever else in this age bracket, what does it look like now saying money over hoes and I have a wife at home? That don't read, dog. Like, we're grown now. When I was young, running the streets, cool. Money over hoes, fine, cool. I have a family now. I can't say money over hoes and I got my wife in the kitchen cooking. Like, that shit sound crazy. I got, hey daddy, hey, like, I'm teaching them money over hoes. That's just a flaw. That's flawed logic, dog. It's a cognitive distortion. Google it. Like, that shit don't make sense. Now, if you single, got a bachelor pad or whatever that looks like, I don't know, whatever, right? May have that mentality. Cool. Single, can do what you want, mingle, whatever that looks like, cool. All right. But for a nigga like me, or like, you know, Jay-Z, or even like people like Kendrick, or who has who's married? Oh, J. Cole. Like, we got wives, dog. Like you can't say money over hoes. Like, it sounds stupid. I know people saying, oh, he's a sellout. No, nigga, it's a growth. 20-year-old saying this into a 50, 40-year-old. Like, it's growth. And that's why niggas be so stagnant. Things, as you grow, you will eventually change. That's everybody. That's just what it is. That's research. That's science. If you had the same mindset so when you was 20 years old to now, nigga, there's a problem. It's a problem, for sure. But I just want to touch on those two interviews the GQ joint in the New York Times interview. I feel like there's gonna be like another interview or two of Jay-Z, and I think he's dropping an album soon. It's too much going on. He's dropping vintage vinyls, changed his name. The Roots Picnic, which he did that freestyle. He's going on tour, not tour, like Yankee Stadium joint in July. I think it's July. Yeah, in July. There's a lot of things coming up, and there have been reports that Jay-Z is dropping soon. So I just want to get my little input on that, because I'm seeing a lot of niggas on the internet talking bad about them interviews. And I understand both sides, but we gotta, we just gotta look at it from a logical standpoint with some shit. But in the meantime, Bridgestart Podcast is dropping soon. I'm just gearing up everything, because everything gotta be right. Website's up. Subscribe, follow, like, share, all that shit. But in the meantime, check us out, CorporateLike Entertainment, the Bridgestart Podcast.